Somebody check Tom Brady's balls. Is he deflating them again? Oh, my God. 39 years old. Tom Brady, 12 touchdowns, 0 interceptions on the season. That's absolutely outstanding. Kyle Gaffner is here. James Worthington as well. It's time for our weekly recap of the NFL. It's Week 8. And we'll start with Tom Brady and the Patriots because that's obviously going to be our number one team on the power rankings. And you know what question I want to ask right away? Is Tom Brady going to win the MVP, even though he's missed 4 games?
I think he'll win the MVP because he missed 4 games and the numbers that he's putting up. It's definitely a shoe-in. Write it down right now. He's getting MVP.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the way things are going, people's top MVP candidates, at least quarterback position, would be like Matt Ryan, Matthew Stafford, I've been hearing. The Falcons have been sliding. The Lions, they're middle of the pack. Patriots are the best team in football. Tom Brady's taking them to another level. If I had to put my money on it, I'm putting it on him to win it.
Yeah, same here. And it's not like anyone else is really, really standing out this season. Aaron Rodgers hasn't really looked like himself. Andrew Luck really hasn't taken that leap forward. Russell Wilson has struggled a little bit, with that ailing injury. So there's no one really that's standing out. So Brady has been absolutely outstanding. He's on pace to throw 36 touchdowns. That's an MVP type of season in 12 games. So I'm in agreement. I think he's going to win it. And Matt Ryan is really the only one right now that I would think is, in the conversation as well. So Tom Brady, wow, 7-1 Patriots. Man. Or are they 6-1? Whatever the hell they are.
7-1.
7-1. Okay, so they did play games. So yeah, they're great, and that's that.
They're fantastic. I have them as my number one power rankings, and Gronk also passed a milestone. He's the leading touchdown guy in the New England Patriots, and he's still a young guy. I mean, who knows what this number is going to be? It could be astronomical by the time it's at the end of his career, especially if Brady plays for another 5 years. So he's really starting to roll with it. You can imagine if they really get all their guys healthy and together, if Martellus Bennett keeps getting all these balls, he gets finally healthy. But the surprise I want to talk about is the trade. Like, what is happening here, guys? What is Belichick thinking, do you think? I don't know.
I don't know what the fuck the Browns are thinking.
That either. I mean, they're trying to maybe get an all-pro linebacker in there. They're shopping their guys. They're shopping Joe Hayden. So they're trying to get young there. I can kind of see what they're doing. Maybe they think – maybe Hugh Jackson thinks he can lock him up for a couple years and get him paid.
I would hope so. Jesus Christ. I mean, I guess he does know how it feels like to play on a shitty team. He was on an 0-12 Southern Mississippi team. But, I mean, unless they're throwing a ridiculous amount of money at him, I don't know why he'd want to stay. Who the fuck would want to play in Cleveland?
Nobody.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he's not going to stay in Cleveland. They'd have to franchise tag him next year just to keep him. They're 0-8, 0-7. I mean, they're headed towards the number 1 pick. Doesn't make sense to give up a draft pick for a guy that you might only have for a year and a half. I don't know what they're thinking. I just see it's more of a typical Patriots trade. They probably weren't happy with Collins for some reason, even though he's a great player. Got rid of him for a draft pick because the Patriots seem to draft better than any other NFL team. So that's that. I mean, I was shocked at it, but, that's what they do, man. They ship off good players, and they develop guys.
Well, they don't pay guys either, you have to remember, too. They got rid of Chandler Jones when he was coming at the end of his contract, so they don't have to pay him big money. And the same with Jamie Collins. He's coming at the end of his rookie contract, so he's going to be expecting a big payday. So what do? They ship him out. They traded for Kyle Van Noy so he can kind of take his spot. So it's a typical Bill Belichick move. The only guys they pay is if you're Brady or Gronkowski. That's the only 2 guys that get money. Everybody else that just doesn't happen.
Jamie Collins, Kyle Van Noy. That's a fucking upgrade. Yeah, I mean, the Patriots have this extraordinary ability to draft and to take shit from other teams and turn them into gold. And Jabal Sheard is like an example. They took him from the Browns and he's been outstanding. So for them, yeah, I mean they just draft real well and they get a 3rd-round pick, which is basically a 2nd-round pick because the Browns are the worst team in football. So it's almost like a late second. So the Browns just I'm continually just befuddled by what the fuck they're doing. I have no idea. It's just like keep your draft picks and try to develop some guys. Jamie Collins, I mean, unless if he's not sticking around, this is a retarded trade.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the Browns are doing. Watch them trade or get rid of Terrell Pryor because he looks like he's their best player right now. I mean, I can understand they're putting Hayden on the block because you get some good value for him. I'd like to see maybe the Eagles go after him, but just because they're a competitive team and they could really use some help at like Hayden, but I feel bad for if they drafted quarterback in the first round because it's not a good trend for them. And if it's DeShone Kizer, I'm not a Kizer guy anyway. So
No.
Could very well be DeShone Kizer. They might pass up Watts and then go for Kizer for sure.
Oh, they're the ones who didn't think Wentz was a franchise quarterback, and he's been looking good this year. So
yeah. All right, number 2 team on our list. At least I think they are. Team that didn't even play. Well, they're not playing until 45 minutes from now. Minnesota Vikings. So they move up. Well, at least for me, they move up because Seattle lost. So I got them at number 2, even though I still think the Vikings are like a little bit overrated. But great defense, obviously. We'll see how Sam Bradford bounces back after last week's game, going up against that Bears defense.
Yeah, I've got them at number 2 too. He did get destroyed. He was definitely exposed by that Eagles defensive line. Took it to those tackles. Those young tackles are very young. And then Jake Long's finally coming off the street, so maybe he gets another week under his belt. Plays a little better, but they're very young over there in Chicago. They don't have that many good pass rushers. Their defense isn't that good, so this should be a team they should handle. But that great defense is going to carry them a long way.
yeah, they'll definitely handle Chicago tonight. I mean, I had a chance to go to the game in Philly last week when we beat Minnesota, and I'll tell you right now that he could not handle the crowd. Like, as soon as I saw him come out, like, he looked nervous. It was right back to the way he was last year because he knew he was bad last year. And that's why I'm not sold on Minnesota. A lot of it's because of Sam Bradford and the lack of offensive around him. I'm not even sold on Stephon Diggs being a legitimate number 1 receiver. I think he's got talent, but I want to see it over a prolonged stretch. The defense is amazing. They're going to be there. You saw they played Seattle when it mattered last year. It wasn't for a missed field goal. They would have won and advanced. So we'll see, man. But, Sam Bradford, his whole career is choking the big games. So I really don't think that they're a team that's going to make a deep run, but we'll see.
That's basically all that's sold on them. Sam Bradford. Simple as that.
Yeah, it's exactly it. And, I mean, they've been struggling running the football. I mean, it's just been that defense carrying them. I think they were behind in early twice in the season, at least like 2 scores, and the defense bailed them out, defense and special teams, which you can't really depend on defense and special team scores. So
Scoring touchdowns all the time, no. And they got lucky in that week 1 because they were down to Tennessee by at least 2 touchdowns, and they scored a punt return and 2 defensive touchdowns. So, yeah, they're not a team that's going to come back and fire or blow you away with their offense, especially when you don't establish a run game. So it's all on Sam Bradford.
Yeah. All right, number 3 team. Is it all the same for you guys? Dallas?
I got the Chiefs at number 3. I don't have Dallas at number 3.
All right, well, we'll talk about Dallas first. This fucking game last night. I talked about it earlier with Mike. We're going to talk about it with EDP. So I'll let James voice his frustrations on Doug.
Oh my God, man. It just hurts because we had the game in the bag. We were up 10 points in the fourth quarter. I mean, that fumble kills us. Why you bring in a rookie in the fourth quarter who hasn't been in the game is beyond me. And I like Wendell Smallwood. I think he's talented, but it's just that's such a Philadelphia Eagles thing to happen is, you bring in him, he fumbles the ball. We don't go for the field goal. We don't use a timeout at the end. It was just everything unraveled in the fourth quarter. We were the better team last night in my eyes watching. I thought our defense played really well. Our defensive line held their own against the best offensive line in football. I mean, we just didn't execute, man. And Dallas, if you're not going to bury them, they're too good of a team to just let them hang around like that. I mean, Ezekiel Elliott is probably, I would almost say, tied like right there with Le'Veon Bell and David Johnson for the best running back in football through 7 games. Like, it's unbelievable the way he runs. His pad level's amazing. His legs, he never stops chopping his feet. And Dak Prescott, I mean, he didn't play too well. Our defense handled him, but he made the plays when it counted. And it sucks to say, we couldn't do shit with Dez Bryant, man. I mean, he's too good.
Yeah. That's unbelievable.
And you got inexperienced corners too, so he's well rested. He hasn't really played that much during the season. He had 4 games off, so he had fresh legs and he took advantage of those corners back there.
Yep.
Yeah. James, what did you think about the 3rd and 8 swing pass?
I just thought it was terrible. I mean, first off, to throw the ball behind the line of scrimmage in that situation, to me, just I don't understand it. And it just seemed like they left Sean Lee like unblocked. Kelsey was supposed to get out there and block him, but nobody's going to block Sean Lee on that play. He's one of the best linebackers in football. He sniffed that out right away. And why you even like run that play there with that potential to happen? I just don't get it. And Doug Peterson is the guy to blame for the Eagles' loss last night. And he's a rookie head coach. I'm not going to say he's a terrible coach. I thought he's done a great job so far. We're going to have bad games, so he's got to bounce back. But, yeah, I thought that was a terrible call. And the fact that he said he would call it again and that they liked it in that situation with the schemes, the way they matched up, it just doesn't make any sense to me because Sean Lee's going to sniff it out every time.
He's going to defend that. Good. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, the way he defended that pass, it's like, it's funny because, like, all coaches will give the same answer. But, like, Doug is, like, so brutally honest that I actually believe him when he says that. It doesn't seem like he has, like, that ego like other coaches do, even though he does. So it's just interesting to me. Kyle, I'll let you interject now.
No, you touched on it. I was going to say the same thing. He's going to defend that decision to the death. He's not going to go back because then he would be second-guessing himself. So, of course, he's going to stick with that. There's going to be some growing pains with this, him as being a rookie coach. Now, it's a little different when you're the offensive coordinator and making that call. It doesn't really fall on you. It falls on the head coach. Now that he's the number 1 guy, you're going to take a lot more heat for it. But this kind of reminded me of the Detroit game. When there was 3rd and 1, they had to get 1 yard, and they did a sweep play. They went backwards when you have to go forwards. Why do you do that in this situation? I don't understand. If you just would have ran it up the gut for 1 or 2 yards, you could have taken that field goal and won the game. So that I was a little confused on. I don't know why he's doing this. But, guys, do you have to agree we got to trade, make a trade for a wide receiver? Some guys that can catch the ball. What was there, 5 drops last night? I mean,
it depends because, see, I don't like Torrey Smith. $9.3 million cap hit. Fuck
I'm not saying Torrey Smith. I'm saying Alshon Jeffrey. If we can pry Alshon Jeffrey away from the Bears. Because I don't like Torrey Smith either.
Depends what it's for. I'm not like – I don't like the fact that we can't sign him to an extension. And you might as well almost wait till the end of the year. As crazy as that might sound. Yeah.
Because then we don't give up a pick if we can potentially sign him in free agency. Torrey Smith, I don't really like either. I mean, he's been good in seasons past. Maybe if we give up like a 6th round pick for him, I'd be all right with it. But it's not. He's going to be more than that. I said it earlier. I'd rather see us trade for a corner, honestly. If we can get Joe Hayden, but I know that's a big cap hit too.
That's a huge cap hit.
I don't know if we're going to make any moves. Seriously, I wouldn't be surprised if we make
anything. I don't think we're doing anything. I think so. Jeffrey, what is his price tag going to be? If Jamie Collins was like a 3rd, maybe he'd be 3rd, 4th. So
yeah, and then wait till the price tag is to re-sign him.
I think they don't do a trade unless he's definitely getting re-signed. I don't see the Eagles pulling the trigger on him just for a 1-year rental at all, or even 10 games, I should say, 10-game rental. Because why would you do that?
And he's got to get acclimated to the offense. So that's going to take like 4 games. So there's 9 games left, and he's not going to be ready until there's like 5 games left. So, I think he's a little bit smarter than DGB. Everybody's smarter than DGB. So even DGB's still struggling a little bit. You got to be careful with this. Like, dude, I'm seeing like shit where like people are commenting. They're like, "Yo, do all that you can to get Alshon Jeffrey." No, why?
Yeah, no.
Why? Just get him at the end of the year. Just throw him
You can't overpay in this season, especially. Like, I think we're a competitive team. I honestly think we can push for a wild card spot, but you don't want to overpay in a year that was supposed to be a developmental year. I mean, Carson Wentz.
That's the key.
Don't make his mistakes. Our offensive line, and they played great. They've been playing good, a lot better since the Washington game, but there's still a question mark. I mean, just because we get Alshon Jeffrey, defenses are going to pay attention to him. It's not going to make all our weaknesses go away. Jordan Matthews is still going to be dropping catchable balls and catching impossible balls. That still baffles me. I don't understand.
He does do that. The little out route, he drops the easy one.
Right in his hands, it hit him. I was very surprised because he was a sure-handed guy there in Purdue.
Yeah, so like back to Jeffrey. That's a point I want to make too. It's like it's not like we're talking about like a team like Arizona or something. I don't know. Just say Minnesota or something, right? Where Minnesota's like one piece away from maybe potentially winning a Super Bowl, and you get Alshon Jeffrey for the rest of the season. That's different than the situation we're in. We're like, I don't want to say we're rebuild. We're like, I don't know what the fuck to call our.
I think we're rebuilding, but competitive while doing it, which is like the way to do it.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out how to say it, but and like Alshon Jeffrey isn't a guy that's going to help us win a Super Bowl this season. So that's why I'm hesitant to pull the trigger on something like that.
But if you do lock him up.
What's that?
But if you do lock him up, okay? You do lock him up.
You can't. The CBA says you can't until the season's over.
One thing about Jeffrey, too, is his injury history. Like, that scares me if we're going to give up a lot for him and he's going to get hurt every other, like, week or something. I mean, he's struggled to stay on the field. I know the one year when he had played with Brandon Marshall, he had a great season. And I think the season after that when Marshall went to the Jets, he was really good. But, I mean, he's just struggled to stay healthy. And when a receiver gets banged up, plays through it, when they're not at 100%, like you saw Julio finishing that game against Green Bay, he was just out there as a decoy, you know?
Well, he's always hurt, though, too. But the 2 years that he did, he was hurt last year. But the 2 years before that, he played all 16 games, and he was a stud. He put up huge numbers. Yeah, there's always that possibility that he's going to be hurt. But he's a sure-handed guy. He doesn't drop passes. I mean, he might, but he's a very sure-handed wide receiver.
Well, he would be by far our best receiver. I mean, it wouldn't be an argument. But I just think – I don't know if it's going to happen now. I think it might be more of maybe in the offseason.
Yeah, I mean, like the other argument that people make is like, well, you trade for him, then put a franchise tag on him. And I get it. But like the franchise tag is like, what, $20 million? So then, guys like Benny Logan, he's a free agent at the end of the year. I kind of want to re-sign him. Like, there's guys I want to sign, and I don't know. I'm just a little. You got to be careful with it, I think. So
yeah.
I mean, if it's only for like say like Chicago does it for a 6th round pick, for instance. Like, sure, I'd do that. But
I'd probably like
4th. Yeah, I'd do it for a 4th. Yeah, anything. Yeah, like I'm not giving up like a 2nd or like shit like that. I'm not doing.
I would do a 3rd. The 3rd is the highest I would probably go. A 3rd round pick.
Possibly, yeah, maybe. I don't know, but if Jamie Collins is a 3rd, then that's probably what the price tag's gonna be.
Yeah, and good point about Benny Logan. I think we need to re-sign him. Like, it's not.
Yeah,
he's a hell of a player.
Yeah, I agree. Especially with having Ezekiel Elliott in the division, got to be able to stop the run up the middle.
Exactly.
So, yeah. All right, let's move on. We spent a lot of we didn't even talk about Dak Prescott. All right, we'll talk about Dak Prescott real quick. So, now the thing that I was curious coming in was to see how he handles pressure, see how he handles a blitz, and I wasn't like that impressed by him when he was doing it. That this was something he struggled at Mississippi State. Sure, he made some plays at the end, but he also underthrew some balls at the end, and he almost got picked off. So if like say he got picked off, all of a sudden he's a GOAT instead of being the greatest of all time, like Dallas wants to say he is. So, what did you think of Dak's play last night?
Good, James.
I mean, wasn't that impressed with him. I didn't think I thought Carson Wentz looked by far and away the best quarterback to the eye test, just for me watching it, and that's as unbiased an opinion I can give. I mean, obviously I'm an Eagles fan, but I really wasn't that impressed with Prescott. At the end of the game, he made the plays when it counted, but Ezekiel in that running game helps him out a lot. I think that he's going to be a good player, but he's still got a long ways to go. Our defense was rattling him. I don't think he handled the pressure that well. There was, I think, right before that Dez touchdown, didn't Leotis McKelvin drop an interception or come really close?
We almost threw an interception.
You make that pick. That's a completely different outcome in the game. So I mean, that's just the way football is. But I thought, I would give him like a B minus, C plus. I'd give Wentz like a B plus, honestly. Just he did well in what he was asked to do.
I would say B minus for Dak, and I don't know, B minus B for Wentz. Wentz was like efficient, but then again, like he also put the ball on the wrong shoulder on some of those screens and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's hard to grade Wentz last night because Doug's handcuffing him so much, and I hate it. Why are you spending the number 2 overall pick on a quarterback?
The one thing at the end of the game.
What's that? I didn't hear you.
My bad. I didn't hear you either. But the one thing at the end of the game that really impressed me with Wentz is how the hell did he hold on to the ball at the last?
Yeah. Dude, I was like, game over. He's fumbling there.
Me too. Same. I thought he was fumbling, and somehow the guy holds on to the ball. And, that's what winners do, dude. I mean, I don't know if he sensed the pressure or what, but, man, only a couple guys hold on to the ball there.
Got big hands, and we got to remember, I think we've seen such exceptional play out of both these guys. We just still have to remember they're just rookies. And for them, the way they played last night, I mean, it was a little bit down from what we've seen in past weeks. And still a great game, though. It was so back and forth and close. And I was so happy when they were up 10 points. I'm like, with this defense, we got this. Zeke still had a really good game, but Dak didn't look like he had in past weeks, and I think that's how you get to him. You just put some pressure on him and scramble and mix up some blitzes on him, and I think that's how you can get to Dak in his young career. And
hard to get pressure on him because of that offensive line.
I know.
Yeah. All right. Oh, we'll get to your number 3 team now, which is So you had Dallas number 3 too, right, James?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get to Kansas City now. That's your number 3 team. That's actually my number 4 team. So we'll talk about the Chiefs. Interesting because they're 3rd in the AFC West, but we both have them ahead of Oakland and Denver in our power rankings. So why do you think that's the case, Kyle?
I think that's just because they're a more complete team than those other two are. Because with Denver, they've got a great defense, but wild card is Simeon. We don't know. He's an up-and-down quarterback. He's a young quarterback, 7th-round pick. It's his first year. And then you go to Oakland, Derek Carr's a stud. He's playing out of his mind, but their defense is so bad. I mean, they gave up – yesterday, the team as a whole gave up 200 yards in penalties, and with their defense, I thought it was going to be a lot more impressive than it was, and they're not. They don't hold teams. They're just – you figure by this point there'd be some continuity, but they're not. They're playing awful. But with Kansas City, you've got a great defense. You got leadership on there, and you got Alex Smith. You've got a decent offensive line. You got those 3 really good running backs. So they just been playing well all together. Alex Smith is a very smart quarterback. I know he got hurt yesterday, and Nick Foles came in and played good, but that's because he's been in Andy Reid's system. And Andy Reid is a great coach, and as we've seen year in and year out, his teams get better as the season goes on.
Yeah, I mean, that is true. Kansas City, after that terrible start last year, they had 9 or 10 in a row victories. I mean, I'm not counting them out at all. I think they're a really good team. I'm just judging my power rankings on the body of work I've seen so far. But if I like Kansas City better than Oakland and Denver come playoff time. But I think their defense really has stepped up lately, and that is a big reason why they started winning games. In the beginning of the season, it was kind of, I was scratching my head. I was like, what's going on here? And they're starting to play better. Like you said, they've got 3 talented running backs. I know Ware's concussed. Charles missed the game, so we'll see what their status is for this week. But, I mean, how about Nick Foles coming in for Alex Smith, too? I saw that on the bottom line watching the games, and I was like, whoa, haven't heard his name in a while. So, I mean, Kansas City, they're a well-coached team, and I know Adrian preseason had him in the AFC Championship, so fruition.
Yes, yeah. How about Nicky Foles, baby? Hold my Nick. How about that? The Chiefs, they do have the head-to-head win against Oakland, too. So that's another reason why I have them ahead of the Raiders. James, who's your number – well, Kyle's got to give his number 4, too. Who's your number 4 then?
My number 4 was the Packers. Now, Aaron Rodgers said at the beginning of the season when they weren't playing too well just to relax. And it looks like he's been a lot more comfortable back there. He played a great game yesterday afternoon. It looks like he's getting a lot more continuity with his wide receivers a little bit. They're not getting that better or good of a separation, but their running back situation is abysmal. I mean, you got Niles Davis, but they've been using a lot of Ty Montgomery back there, and he's banged up. They've got a really good offensive line, but it looked like Aaron Rodgers of old yesterday. He was going out of the pocket. He was making unbelievable throws. He just looks like he's got a lot more confidence, and it's a shame that they lost yesterday. But you have to remember, though, they also have a ton of injuries on the defensive side of the ball. So I think as those guys get healthy, they continue to win more games because they've got a great defensive line. And Clay Matthews didn't play yesterday, so they really couldn't get that much pressure on Atlanta and Matt Ryan to disrupt it. They shut down Julio Jones. I don't know if that's because of his injury, but they had a young kid on him. But they played really well yesterday, and I see them in the playoffs, definitely the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, I mean, I like what I've seen out of Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers looked really good yesterday. He looked like the Aaron Rodgers of old. They actually just cut Niles Davis today. So I think that means probably James Starks is getting ready to come back, which will be a big boost for them. Also, I mean, they didn't have Randall Cobb yesterday either. And Devontae Adams the past 2 weeks has looked really good. So if you get him, Cobb, and Nelson going, obviously we know what this Green Bay offense can do. Defense yesterday against Atlanta, they struggled a little bit, but I think their defense has been better than years past. So, they've got one of the best in the game throwing the football. They have a good shot to be there at the end of the year. But my number 14, I got Oakland. I know they have defensive struggles, but Derek Carr, man, this guy has taken monumental steps forward this year. Amari Cooper, Michael Crabtree, that might be one of the best receiver duos in the game. I just really like what I'm seeing out of them. They keep squeaking out wins. They just need that defense to improve. I think they drafted – it's Carl Joseph they drafted, I'm pretty sure. It's safety. He's been playing pretty football. They have that all-pro Khalil Mack. So they just need guys to step up next to them. But if Derek Carr keeps making plays, watch out for Oakland, man. I got a weird feeling about them this year. I think they're dangerous.
Okay. To comment on Green Bay, I mean, that game yesterday was outstanding. Atlanta and Green Bay, one of the better games of the year. Rodgers, finally kind of turned the corner. He's been kind of struggling a little bit in terms of Aaron Rodgers' status first couple of weeks of the season. I mean, he and Matt Ryan were just going back and forth. I remember this pass earlier in the game, Rodgers to Jordy Nelson was just absolutely outstanding. Matt Ryan threw this fucking dime to Taylor Gabriel for a touchdown. That was outstanding.
That was nice.
Yeah. So, Green Bay, I definitely, I like Green Bay, obviously. I can't put them in my top 5 right now. I mean, they lost yesterday, but they're definitely really going to be a really solid team by the time the season's over, as long as Aaron Rodgers keeps playing like he did yesterday. So they'll be okay. And I would think they're better than Minnesota, even though I have Minnesota number 2 in my power rankings. So, comment on Oakland. Oakland is my number 5 team. So, I love me some Derek Carr. Oh, my God. You want to talk about it factor and a quarterback. He's got everything. So I like him. And it's weird because, I don't know what to think of them because, it's impressive that they can win despite all those penalties. But then, fuck, man, they commit so many penalties. So
So many.
So it's like a double-edged sword. It's two sides to it.
I
But
think, my bad.
I was done. So go ahead.
With Oakland, this is a young team that they're starting to come into themselves. They're starting to kind of round into shape here, and I think we'll see them make the playoffs this year, and that could be the start of something years to come. Like they've got some talent there that should be there for a while. So I think that we're seeing the beginning of a good team for a long time.
They're the number 2 seed right now. Crazy.
And they're young, but they play so much better when they're on the road than they do at home, which is baffling because usually, teams are a lot stronger at home than they are on the road, but they're undefeated on the road now. They played incredible. Both their losses at home. You got a great coach in Jack Del Rio. You got those 2 studs at wide receiver, and they've got a young backfield too. They got a really good line, and he has taken monumental strides. It's crazy to think you got him in the second round. He didn't go in the first for whatever reason. I was very surprised at that. But Derek Carr he drops passes left and right on a dime. And the only thing that would hurt them is all these penalties because that could really screw you in a game. Luckily, they played the Bucs yesterday, so they were able to shut them down. But they've got young defensive studs. I've touched on how I love Carl Josephs. I think he's going to be awesome. They got Jihadi Ward, Calhoun, Shaq Calhoun on the ends there to go with Khalil Mack. So they're a very young and up-and-coming team.
Yeah. So number 5. Let's go to your guys' number 5 because Oakland was mine.
Yeah, James.
My number 5, it was tough to pick a team. Like Kansas City's there. I was thinking about Denver, Green Bay, but I'm still giving it to Seattle. I know they lost at New Orleans, but it's pretty tough to play in New Orleans. Seattle, their offensive line is abysmal, but I think that as the year goes on, when it starts getting colder out there, I think they'll start playing a little better. I also think Thomas Rawls, they're taking the time to actually get him healthy. So him with Michael together, I think they'll be all right. I'm a little concerned about Russell Wilson's knee and everything, but they've been there for so long, it seems like now. I've got them as my number 5 team. Their defense is still it's a Super Bowl caliber defense. And, I think 5 really is wide open, though. It's the NFL, the parity in the NFL this year. It's different than past.
Yeah. There's one clear-cut team, and then everything else is like
up in the air.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this team, lives and dies with Russell Wilson. As we've seen, they just don't look like the same team. He's got that injury to his knee, so he hasn't had the ability to scramble and make the plays like we've used to seeing. Thomas Rawls is hurt. That offensive line is abysmal. Soul, their left tackle, who's not a very good tackle, was hurt yesterday. So now you have another rookie in there, Fant, who was just getting destroyed yesterday. So they might turn it around. I know they got a couple of injuries, and I think this team is a different dynamic when Cam Chancellor is not back there, and he's been hurt the past 2 games, and we've seen it last year when he was holding out that they were a completely different team.
Yep. Yeah, and the one thing about Seattle, before I let Adrian jump in, they are 4-2-1 still, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think they've been blown out yet. They lost to Atlanta by 2 points, and they lost yesterday in the close game, and then they had that terrible Monday night game, that 6-6 tie.
Yeah.
But they're competitive. They're in every game, so that's why I put them at 5.
Yeah, let me see what they've done. If I'm picking who's gonna represent the NFC, it's gonna be Seattle. That's my team. So it's
they lost to the Rams, didn't they? They lost to the Rams this year.
They always struggle against the Rams. They always lose to the Rams. It seems like it's crazy. But I think they did 9. That was like the 9-3.
Yeah, 9. Yep. Yeah. All right, so maybe 4-3.
I think they're 4-3 now. 4-3-1.
I think they're 4. I think they're 4-2-1.
So they lost to the Rams.
They lost to Atlanta too, didn't they?
No, they beat Atlanta because remember
they beat Atlanta. Okay,
they beat them by 2.
By 2, yeah. Okay, so all right, that's what it is. We got it.
It's like it's hard doing these power. I strictly took Seattle out because they lost yesterday. I guess that's just kind of how I do it. But Seattle to me is the second best team in the NFL behind New England. So that's kind of the way I feel. It struggles with the offensive line, obviously, but you still got all the pieces there. So I don't need to comment any further. You guys did a pretty good job with that. So, Kyle, we'll get to your number 5 team then, and then we'll kind of close this out.
This is going to be a huge surprise, and I flipped the script from James's team, and I'm going with New Orleans as my number 5 team.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, man. They're in a very weak division, but Drew Brees is on a roll right now. They've won 4 in a row. So, and when he catches hot, man, I mean, they're a young team. I like their offense. They play very tough at home, and they have a chance to win this division and get into the playoffs.
I mean, I wouldn't put them number 5, but what are they? They're 3-4
in a very poor division.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to put them at number. I think they're the 5th best team in the league, but
you'll see, man. You'll see.
No,
I've been very, very impressed with them. I had to change it up this year or for this week. I just couldn't keep going with the same teams. I wanted to mix it up a bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Atlanta's the best team in that division, but
I mean, I like you mixing it up.
I like
the Saints
yeah,
offense any given week. What I'll say about them, Michael Thomas is really starting to develop into a hell of a receiver. Drew Brees, obviously a Hall of Fame quarterback, and Brandon Cooks, a lot of people look at him as like a deep threat boomer bust type guy. He's a lot more than that. I mean, he gets I think he's averaging 7-8 targets a game, and he's usually leads the team in targets. They have Fleener out there who's athletic, fast. Excuse me. But, I mean, he's been kind of, some games – he had that one big game, and I don't know how much he's done besides that. But, I mean, it's going to come down to their defense, how their defense plays. They played decent against Seattle, good enough to win. But, I mean, they've been torched this year in a lot of games.
Yeah, they have. And
that's why I can't put them in the top 5.
But they play in with a lot more continuity. I like their linebackers. I like their defensive line. They're just very young, but they've got a little experience. I mean, Delvin Breaux's been hurt, but Webb made a good play, and he played well yesterday to shut down that touchdown. I just like what they bring, and they've got a good offensive line. And Tim Hightower went off for 100 yards, so they got decent running backs too.
Yeah. And then their linebackers are good. I think they have Laurinaitis now, he's decent, but I really like that young guy Anthony there. He's a hell of a player, and he's going to develop. In 2 years, he'll be a Pro Bowl, like a perennial Pro Bowler year by year. I think
he tackles everything that moves. He's all over the place. He averages 11 tackles a game. I mean, he's just always sniffs out the ball. I like him too. He was a really good pickup.
My favorite player on that team, besides Drew Brees, is their left tackle, Teron Armstead. That guy is an athletic fucking beast. Mm-hmm. And I remember when we were in the playoffs, Eagles were in the playoffs against the Saints, and they started Armstead. Nobody knew who he was. He was a 7th-round pick, and he was outstanding in that game, and he's been outstanding ever since. I mean, he might be the most athletic lineman in the league besides Tyron Smith. So
underrated.
He's very, very good. He's very, very good. So. Athletic as hell. It's insane. So I mean, there's some things, but I don't know. I don't buy New Orleans because of their defense, but that's just me.
That offense will take them a long way. I just think by the end of it, it could come down to them and Atlanta fighting for that division. That's all I was trying to say. Trying to flip the script a little bit.
What about Carolina? Can they come back?
I'm pretty counting Carolina out, honestly. As much as it seems like they've looked bad. They looked a lot better yesterday. And they still have Cam Newton. They've got Luke Kuechly, he can lead at defense. Their defense seemed like they played a lot better yesterday. I mean, I know they gave some points at the end, but Carolina, man, if that division, if Atlanta can't pull away, if New Orleans, their defense can't help them win games, Carolina could be in it. I mean, nine games might win that division.
Maybe.
It could, but that defense has been shredded more than the Saints defense, I think. So.
Oh, I know it has, but they had the bye week to reset, and you got to think a defense has been that good for that long, man. That's affecting their ego, dude. They played with some attitude the other day, and that was against a Cardinals team, which I actually thought was going to win the game. After tying Seattle, I was like, all right, Arizona needs this game. They're talented. Carolina's got their backs against the wall, and you know what? Carolina came out and they just wanted it more.
Carolina is they've been doing this they didn't do it last year, but a couple years ago when they won the NFC South, they got real hot in the second half, and their defense really, really turned it on. Now, I am concerned about their secondary because their quarterbacks suck, but that looked like a different defense yesterday, and they have been so good for so long that you would think that they can flip the switch and get better. So they're 2-5, so they're
2-5.
like
2 games back.
2-5. So yeah, they're right in the mix. I mean, they're not like fucking far back. Let's see.
They should trade for Joe Hayden is what they should do.
If they got Joe Hayden, man, that would help them a lot.
See, that's the difference between the Eagles trading for Alshon Jeffrey and a team like the Panthers trading for Joe Hayden. That's like the example there. Because the Panthers, like they were obviously in the Super Bowl last year, so they're Super Bowl. They have that caliber type of team that they can win it all. And a guy like Joe Hayden can really fix that secondary. It's going to take him some weeks again to like get acclimated and all that. But that's a guy that can put them over the top because their quarterbacks have been so bad that a guy like Hayden can single-handedly kind of maybe help that secondary turn it around. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's if they really want to give up whatever the Browns are asking for. And I think Joe Thomas is still on the trading block too, right?
Yeah, they want like a first-round pick for him, though.
Yeah, and he's already 32, 30.
Yeah, that's a steep price.
Yeah, so
that's a steep price for him.
Yeah, I ain't giving up no first-round pick for Joe Thomas at this point.
Maybe 5 years ago.
He's a hell of a player, but he's too old for that.
He's too old, yeah.
We've seen it firsthand here with Jason Peters, so he's going to start kind of steadily declining a little bit, but he's still a great tackle. I still think he's top 3 in the league. So
definitely,
yeah, for sure. I think could be top 2. I mean, the way Tyron Smith is playing right now, though, I think he might be the best.
Oh, he's definitely the best.
He's the best tackle in the league for sure.
Yeah. So all right, let's see. Anything else we want to talk about before we head out?
I'm trying to think. We touched on trade. We touched on.
There was another tie yesterday.
Oh God, yeah, that's right. And two, it's the last London game, so that's nice. So we don't have to wake up early to watch a London game. Let's hope this doesn't turn into a trend, and they add more and more on each year. But another tie. Like, when is the last time we had 2 ties within the same year? Has it ever happened?
1997. They had this. They had a stat. Last time it happened back-to-back weeks was 1997.
Jesus, man.
Yeah.
Go ahead, James.
I was glad Washington missed that field goal because I thought Cincinnati would beat them. But at one point, I was like, oh, my God, Washington's going to win. Like, as an Eagles fan, we need them to lose, and then they missed it. I was happy. But that game, I mean, it was competitive, but it was a little sloppy. I mean, Cincinnati just baffles me. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, of course.
London's going to be a trend. Like, they're getting really good attendance at those games. I think an NFL wants to put a team in London. What's concerning them is just the travel between Europe and America. So it's going to happen eventually, I think.
Oh, I hope not, man. Because imagine being in that division and you have to travel there, twice a year, like 9 hours, the jet lag.
Imagine being a West Coast team, like having to go out there. I mean, it happened already. I think St. Louis, LA had to play out there. So their fans, I think, had to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning to watch their team play.
Yeah.
God, I hope that never happens. I really don't, because that would suck. I mean, next year they're going to have a game played in China, and then the year after that they're going to have it in Germany. So we're going to have some early games. But is this the final straw for Marvin Lewis, do you think? They've been a playoff team for the past 5 years, and now that they're 3-5 now, does he finally get the boot?
3-4-1.
Or 3-4-1, yeah, 3-4-1.
I don't know. I mean, I know he can't win a playoff game, but I don't know.
I have to do the back too.
Yeah, I'm not an Andy Dalton fan. That's my thing with the Bengals. It's more Andy Dalton than the coach, even though I'm not like a big Marvin Lewis guy.
And they haven't had that much turnover. I mean, you lost Mohamed Sanu and Marvin Jones, but it's not like you lost
Hugh Jackson.
Yeah, that's true.
No. Yeah.
They lost another coordinator. I guess their offensive coordinator.
Joseph, yeah.
Yeah. Their coordinators. Well, their coordinators are getting jobs.
Defensive backs coach on their team.
They think it's Campese or Zampese is their offensive coordinator now, and then they've had a lot of overturn there.
I knew Jim Gruden was there, and then Hugh Jackson, I think, took over, and both of them went on to be head coaches.
Head coaches. And I heard Tom Coughlin might be coming back to coach too.
Heard that as well.
Going back to Jacksonville.
That'd be funny. Yeah, Ken Zampese. There you go.
Ken
Defensive coordinator. It's still
Gunther.
right? Yeah,
Paul Gunther.
Okay. Yeah, of course. When we're gonna play the Bengals, they're gonna be fucking on their game. You know.
Yeah.
Of course.
Fucking up and down. They're gonna be playing the best game.
Green and Eifert. Eifert's back too. So.
Yeah. Yep. And then Jeremy Hill's off and on.
That's a good point. Eifert had himself a good game yesterday, so it could help moving forward. Obviously, give AJ Green a fucking some help. Yeah. Other than that, that's about it for this week. Yeah. I mean, we somehow go 45 minutes every time we do this, but yeah. So, any final thoughts before we head out?
Yeah, it was a kind of a week this week. There was only 12, 13 games this week, so that kind of sucks. There were 6 teams on a bye. Ready for next week to get the sour taste out of our mouth for the Eagles and stuff. So we want to get this crappy Monday night game over with and look forward to. There might be a good game on Thursday night finally. Oh no, I'm sorry, it's Atlanta and the Bucks. That game's gonna suck too, so it'll be low ratings. Never mind.
Yeah, and there's always bad quality football on Thursday because they don't get enough time to prepare, which is why they should just do away with Thursday, in my opinion. Anyway, and just 2 thoughts left on the MVP, the MVP conversation. I think Brady is head and shoulders above everybody else, but like I said earlier, if Oakland keeps playing good, Derek Carr's going to be in that conversation. And I hate to say it, but Ezekiel Elliott is in the conversation as well. So
we'll see how far Zeke can go. So. If he goes for like 1,800, 1,900 yards, something like that, high touchdown total, yeah, I can see it. Definitely. For sure.
He's on track, and I heard T.O.'s taking flyers, guys. He wants to come back. Mr. 42-year-old T.O.
I would take T.O. over Torrey Smith. I'll tell you that. Wouldn't be a cap hit like that. He'd probably sign for like $900,000.
Give the man a chance. He's not giving it up yet. Hey, he might go to the Patriots if he wants to finally win himself a chip. Just go sign with Bill Belichick there, T.O.
T.O., Bryce Treggs, I don't know.
Or Paul Turner. How about this guy that caught everything in preseason? Give this guy a try. I mean, come on. Let's give him a try.
I don't want to comment on the Eagles anymore. I'm done.
Sour taste.
Yeah, well, I'm going to have an hour and a half when I bring ADP on. So Monday.
At least he'll bring laughs, though.
What's that?
At least he'll bring you some laughs, though.
Yeah. He'll warm my heart because I've been so fucking pissed off today. Yeah. So yeah, pissed off red snorting emojis for me. All right. With that being said, Kyle Gaffner, James Worthington, I'm Adrian Fedke. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let us know what your power rankings are below. Who's your number 1 through 5? Do you think Tom Brady's going to win MVP? Let us know. We're out. Peace.
Yeah.